My name is Vivian Rivas. I'm originally from Guatemala, and I've been here in New York for more than 30 years. I come from a family of lawyers on my father's side, and there was the question what I was going to go to college for. I wanted to study something creative and not the law. So I said architecture. Architecture is perfect. It combines technical and creative stuff. It's a very hard career. And while I was studying architecture, this filmmaker from Guatemala, his name was Justo Chang, and he started giving workshops on Saturdays. And he introduced me to Luis Argueta, who later on hired me to come to New York. So that's how, in the short, short story, how I ended up here. Architecture and film are very similar in the sense that they're both science and art, and there's a lot of technical stuff. So you have to juggle both. And in film, it's the same. You have to deal with a lot of technical stuff, but also you have to be really creative because you're telling a story. My stories that I get attracted to usually are human stories of ordinary people that get involved or dragged into uncommon situations. Like, for example, my first short, the name was Ebb Tide, and it was about this teacher, 86-year-old teacher, who wanted to get back to her favorite time of her life when she was a teacher in East Harlem in the 1990s. She wanted to get in touch with her favorite student. But this time, he was already a 45-year-old. That situation was out of the ordinary for her, for me. So I guess I'm always curious to see how humans go through all these out of the ordinary situations. Fundamentally, in documentary filmmaking, your trust has to be both ways with your protagonists. I believe in certain ethics. You have to have a trust and a communication, clear communication with your characters, your protagonists, because they're trusting you with their lives. They're opening up their homes, their families for you. So you have to be respectful of that. And I think that only can create it with time. My projects are really long. I've been shooting one for 8 years, and I think it's going to be worth it. But you have to be persistent, and sometimes it's really hard because life it takes you on a journey too. Okay, so this is my office, my cave, underneath my second bed. There are several things that I'm working on. I have a YouTube channel for Latin America where I teach art and history. So my idea was that the kids in Guatemala that don't have the possibilities to come to New York, but they would like to learn about art, to see how life is here. So I get in the subway and I go to museums and I interview artists, either in English or in Spanish. So they can learn from them and see their process, which is very important. That's how I shoot my YouTube from here, and I think it's been great for them to see New York and to want to learn from artists here. I see New York as a New Yorker, but I was born in Guatemala, so I understand what they would like. That's one of the things that I do. I also do some little portraits of artists independently here in New York. And right now I'm in post-production of my first feature film. It has a working title, Ashley. I think it's going to be, an hour or so. I have 140 hours that I've been shooting for 8 years. Finally finished shooting last year in August. And it's about this group home in Guatemala that caught fire in 2017 on Women's Day, and 41 girls burned alive. So I'm following the mothers of the girls, looking for justice. I was traveling back to Guatemala 2 or 3 times a year, and I self-produced it since I work freelance as a script supervisor and camera person. And right now I'm trying to make it become what I want. When you are working with documentaries, you're carving into real situations, but the story has to be also yours. And editing a documentary is, to me, the ultimate writing challenge, because it's the writing and the rewriting. As opposed to fiction, you have a script and you shoot based on that script. But in a documentary, you never know what's going to happen. You have an idea, but the most important thing is that you have to tell the story that you think is important to tell in your own style, right? So it's a personal story because it's connected to my roots, but also it's a story that I think is very important that it gets known, because what happened shouldn't happen again. And youth is the future of every country. And when the youth is not protected, what are we doing then? I think it's very important to be validated by this organization which supports art from so diverse styles and disciplines and backgrounds. So I think it's very important to me that the National Arts Club chose me as one of the fellows this year, because it validates my work and also allows me to connect with other artists and other art lovers and fans and people that want to learn and that are curious. So it is really important, and I am so happy to be part of the fellows this year. My goal is that people understand that there's no absolute truth to anything. We all have our truths and our point of view, and that nuances are what makes democracy. And the moment you erase nuances, then there's a dictatorship. And also, I would like people to understand that it's good to be curious. It's great to be curious. And most of the time, kids are curious, and then when they get to adults, people forget to be curious. And I think what drives me is that I'm curious and aware of other people and what happens out there. And even if it's outside of my world or inside my little world, I always want to learn, and that's what keeps me going.